and so I tend to find myself getting into positions where I can influence it, and yeah, so now I'm on the borough council.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Big Dane podcast. I'm your host, Dana Trimborn, and in this podcast, find the connection in the weird experiences that we all share. Listen to new episodes on Tuesdays wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast is supported by the artist Loft in Conshohocken, PA. Art by local artists of all mediums, which include paintings, jewelry, ceramics, and much more. Check out their Instagram account at @the_artistloft. Hey friends, in this week's episode, I'm chatting with Adrian Serna about his weird things that he does in his daily routine. Find out who he talks to that is not a coworker when he works from home. Welcome, Adrian!
Yay! Hi, Big Daners.
I'm so glad that you were able to join me on this episode.
Yeah, I'm very excited. This is my first podcast ever
Love
to be
it.
on. Long-time listener, first time
This is true.
honor.
Well, we're happy to have you. This
Guest.
is wonderful.
That's the word. Guest.
All right. Well, before we kind of dive into everything, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay. So my name is Adrian Serna. Couple of things that I do right now. I am on the Conshohocken Borough Council. This is my first time ever entering politics, and it's been an exciting and kind of scary adventure. I also own a hot sauce company, and I just started planting my garden this year with my exotic peppers. I work for a digital marketing agency out in New Jersey, and it's really exciting and fun to do. So I came to PA in 2016, but I was actually born and raised in Texas, in a farming area. I don't know. Are you familiar with Lubbock, Texas?
Nope.
Okay.
And
Well,
I guess where in Texas?
It was at one time the cotton hub of the United States. So there was just lots of farms.
Okay.
And whenever I could literally walk out of my door and turn left and walk into a cotton field.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we definitely grew up in a very rural area. And then after that, after high school, I went to California for college and loved it. And stayed out there. They had buildings, they had trees, they had just so many different types of food. It wasn't just nachos everywhere.
Oh my
nachos.
gosh.
Growing up in Texas, I did love nachos and fajitas, but there's a limit on how many nachos and fajitas you should probably have in your life, and I think I've gone over that.
Probably met the quota 20 years ago.
Yeah, and I definitely have had the doctor's visits to certify that. And then I moved to California for college, and that is where I met my wife, and we decided to stay out there. She works in biotech, and I worked in education. And then we got a really cool invite. She got a really cool job out here, and I decided to make a career switch. So that's whenever we moved out to Pennsylvania.
Love it. What a great story.
Well, I was upset because they sold us on the idea that we were going to be living outside of Philly.
Yeah.
And they initially put us in Lansdale.
That's
and
right.
Lansdale, if you're not familiar, smells like cows. So I was like, you took me back home. You put me back on the farm. So, but we started looking around, and pretty quickly, after a month or two, we found a place in Conchi, and it just grew on us. We bought a house here, and join the local municipal government. No, we do lots of volunteer things like with the community garden and stuff. So
Wonderful.
It's the kind of like small neighborhood feel that we've always wanted.
Yeah, I really do like the community here with everyone, all the restaurants, all the small businesses, and, you know, just being a part of something. And yeah, we can walk everywhere here. It's great.
Yeah.
If I want hot sauce, I just go and walk to Adrian's house.
Walk a couple blocks down and pick up your hot sauce.
His hot sauce
yeah.
is like very good too. So, FYI.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have. So one of the interesting things about the hot sauce is that's just what more people care about. Like I even went to this political conference for recently, like last weekend, and you can tell them all the stuff you want about your town, your borough, and like the cool stuff there, the crazy things that are happening. But then once I told them like I make my own hot sauce, that's when people started listening to me.
So instead of like having pens in your, you know, pocket pouch, right, in your breast pocket, whatever they call that, they have like little mini samples of hot sauce.
Oh, I should do that.
It's pretty good, right?
Like little packets.
Yeah.
Like little, oh wow. Yeah, because cards don't really work for hot sauce.
You're welcome. You're welcome. No, that's awesome. How about let's just do some quick, fun, interesting questions. So, are you a coffee or a tea person?
Either. It mostly goes though towards coffee because whatever will give me the maximum amount of caffeine. And it's entirely too much coffee. So there was a tea period in my life. Yeah.
Okay.
I got really into teas, steeping, you know, the blends, the oolongs, the greens, the Earl Greyers.
Yeah.
Anyway, and like how to specially make them. I would even go, oh my goodness. My life is like evolved around my Starbucks orders. So it was like a very specific order that I would get.
Yeah.
What was it? Okay.
Whatever language, that you speak at Starbucks.
Yeah, the middle size, which is a grande.
Grande, yeah.
A grande tea, and it was what? Awake tea.
Awake
in a venti cup, but double cup it because it's so hot.
Get out.
And
this
then
is already too much.
I would fill the
I'm
rest
already leaving Starbucks.
with 2% milk and sugar. And it was just...
Interesting.
Yeah, I had this belief that
choice.
the caffeine high from tea was more mellow.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. I usually do tea more in the wintertime, like before bed. Not like right before bed, but like watching TV. Otherwise, yeah, coffee all the way. But why don't we dive in to your weird things that you do in your daily routine?
Okay, so do you want me to dive in?
Dive in.
Like you said, dive in? Okay.
One at a time here.
Okay, so one of, it's hard to think of like what I do as a daily routine, but because I guess I also change routines throughout my life. Like there was several years in my life where part of my routine was running a 5K every single day.
Oh my God.
On top of like other gym stuff. That was just the run. And it was insane. But I always have like some things that now I try not to follow an exact routine, but I realize like I have these habits that I do every day. One of them is talking to my dog like he's a coworker.
Aww. Zippy. He's
So
a little chihuahua, right?
Yeah, he's a Chihuahua Terrier mix. He's just like a wolf in sheep's clothing because he looks so cute, and then he bites a lot. But yeah, whenever something bad happens at work, he's the way I get to vent because I have hybrid work, so I get to work from home.
Okay.
So like while the Zoom meeting is muted, I can yell at him and stuff. Like or whatever. An email, I forgot to send an email because he distracted me or because he needed to go on a walk.
So let me ask you this. Do you remember maybe like when that first time happened where all of a sudden maybe like you're on the Zoom call and something like either went wrong or like you're upset about what your coworker just said or something happened to lead you down the road of like, can you believe this, Zip? Are you hearing that?
Yeah, Yeah, we do. We work. In advertising, we work with a lot of CEOs, and a lot of CEOs like to hear themselves talk. So, one of the tricky things about that is whenever they have told you something for the third or fourth time, and they kind of think that they're like telling you for the first time, like it's a revelation. And so, like, I'll turn to him like, "Did you know that? Oh my goodness! Did you know that they're gonna revolutionize the industry? Oh my goodness! They're gonna be disruptors.
That's great.
They're gonna change the whole market."
Oh my gosh.
And he rightfully sighs and turns his head.
Okay. Well, going off that, I remember at my last job when something I was hearing that, I didn't necessarily agree with. I work at home too, and I was working home then. I have a mirror, like a standing mirror, just because we had an extra one, next to my desk. So every time I heard something that was like, are you fucking serious right now? Like one of those moments, I would look to the mirror, like to my right, and just like, really? Like have that face, So that's something weird, I guess I would do.
You were your own coworker?
There you go.
He's like, look, and she agrees with me every time. Zip doesn't always agree with me.
Yeah, no. Oh my gosh. So that's great. So how about like, maybe that's in the morning or like through halfway of your day, would you say? Like, or
no,
or
that's throughout the entire day.
Throughout the entire day?
And
Oh, wow.
9 to 5, as long as I'm dealing with clients or just some wild emails, he's going to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's going to know that he did something wrong.
Oh my gosh.
And he's got to wait to play.
What is, how do you feel after you talk to Zip? Do you feel like a little better because you're like, I got it out of my system, like a relief, kind of like a or like
it's
a release? Even?
Yes, I'm not crazy. It's just therapeutic. And I know he doesn't understand what I'm saying to him. He does not understand full sentences.
Yeah, he just.
But yeah, it is.
Nods.
It is one of those things where you're just like, because otherwise, who else your coworkers aren't there anymore.
Right.
And
totally.
It feels a little weird to put something like that in a text conversation to your coworker. Like, can you believe this?
Yeah.
He listens. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And he also wags his tail whenever he agrees. So.
Oh, how cute. Okay, how about like anything else that, you go about your day, after you've had some Zoom meetings and you've talked to Zip a little bit. And so what else? I mean, because you're at home, there's no one else around, right?
Well, okay. So again, different phases in my life have been like different routines. So I used to wake up and watch the morning news every single day, local morning news. Mm-hmm. Because there's always this interesting spin on it. They'll give some national news and stuff and talk tragedy, but it's usually just crazy local people, and they're always trying to have like some sort of entertainment. And then I found out Philly has like one of the craziest like local morning news hosts, and I was like, oh, this is like weird and entertaining. But I started phasing that out and instead just watch Instagram stories now. Because the news just started getting depressing. And it was like, I don't need to...
It can be depressing.
And especially whenever it feels like a news cycle or something has been in the news like for a year or 2 years. And you're like, oh, maybe I don't want to keep watching about that. So, yeah, I slowly started transitioning into... Okay, well, I don't have to wake up at 6:30 a.m. to watch this. I can watch it whenever I want.
That's true, yeah.
It's a little interesting. Sometimes there's cool stuff that my friends are posting, or maybe there's an event happening.
Yeah.
But it's usually just terrible memes and, like, funny dog videos or something like that
It's one way to get your morning going.
Well, it is. I mean, think about it. You can either wake up and hear about tragedies, a few tragedies in the morning, and hear about how, there's just some other new problem looming out there, or you just watch puppies play. Like you watch puppies and kitties play.
There you go.
And it's like one of those ways is a good way to start your day.
Okay, let's take a quick break. For a limited time only, you'll have free access to my coffee page. No, not actual coffee. This is a place for all exclusive content that won't be on my Instagram or Facebook accounts. Check out sneak peeks, behind the scenes, extra audio clips, and much more. Just have a tap on my link tree, look out for that coffee cup icon, and boom, you'll be on your way. Yeah, no, you make a good point, because, especially if you're trying to, feel good, round the clock, and you want to incorporate that into some way, it's like, well, what can I do better, And maybe it's as silly and weird or, strange as it sounds to open up Instagram, but maybe it's something that is going to give you that spark in the morning that's not going to be sad. This is actually going to lift me up. Yes, I will watch a puppy video. Let's go. And maybe there is a duck with it.
Oh, puppies and ducks.
Yeah.
Oh.
I saw one, it was like a puppy and a duck, and it was just hanging out.
They were best friends.
Yeah, they looked like they were best friends. It's like, I want to be them.
Well, I used to do that even in the past, where it'd be like when it was just YouTube, you'd be like, I'll watch cat videos for a little while. And it's like silly cat videos are entertaining. And it's like, okay. It was like a nice mental escape. Yeah. But also when it starts making you laugh early in the morning, it's like, oh, cool. That's a nice little endorphin rush and actually wakes you up.
Yeah, I like that.
It's better not thinking about all the tragedies as you walk out the door.
Yeah. And some people will say oh, you look at your phone first thing in the morning. Well, if it has some kind of relevancy for you and it is going to do something for you and not make you more depressed or, whatever. Because, I think
true.
People, maybe folks that are younger than us, get into something where they're in social media and, now they're comparing themselves. But if you put a spin on it, there's so much content out there. So find something that, makes you feel good.
I used to get in that slump too, where it was because I was looking at things that weren't bringing up my mood. And that's part of the reason I started watching the morning news, because I was like, I'd rather be entertained this way, because if you wake up and you're just hearing all your friends went on cool vacations while you're I'm trying to figure out my new job, that sort of thing.
Right.
It doesn't really help for the way that you're waking up.
Agreed.
So, but the morning news wore off and now it's puppies. Puppies and ducks.
Puppies and ducks. That's great. Awesome. Was there anything else that you wanted to share that you do in your daily routine? Or?
Another thing that I don't know if it's weird.
Okay.
I do this thing, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, it's called an Enneagram. So
is that how you say it?
Yes, that's how you say it.
I'm asking because I was listening to another podcast and I think they said an enneagram or something.
Well,
is that not right?
They might have said Enneagram or something like that, a different pronunciation of it. I'm just saying it from the way I had once heard it.
Yeah.
So I could also be wrong.
And because that was the first time I heard it, which was probably 6 months ago. So for those that don't understand or they haven't heard this, word before, what is it?
So
what are you saying?
So it's this idea that there are kind of 9 different interconnected personality types, and whenever you think about it and you answer these questions about how you think about things, you will tend to fall into one of those personality types.
Okay.
So the reason I say it's a little weird is that I check it because it gives you a guidance or a question or something to think about that day. Almost but as opposed to it being just some general meditation, instead it's guided towards whatever your predominant personality type is.
Interesting.
So if you have a personality type that is like very dependent on others like giving you worth in order for, or like others praising you or something in order for you to feel worth, it would give you something like in line with that sort of personality to think about for that day.
Yeah.
Because one of the goals of it is, it's not to say that there's anything good or bad about the personality, it's that it's all of it, that there are sides to it, and whenever you feel stressed, you get pulled in a certain direction, and whenever you feel good about yourself, you go to another direction, like the good positive part of it. So but I really like that really aligned with my thinking, because I'm not into horoscopes. I don't like something telling me what my day is going to be.
Yeah. And it's kind of generalized too, like very generalized.
Well, also because I was like, I don't want to believe that like my fate lied in the stars. Like, that's scary. But instead,
I can't reach the stars.
Like, can somebody please move these? But for this, it is more like an understanding of like, hey, who you kind of are, and something that might help you grow that day, or help you just focus a little better that day.
I didn't realize there was, this other part to it. I thought it was like, all right, you take a quiz, because it's like a number based, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you get your number, surprise. And then it's like, what do you do with that? I didn't know there's like all this other stuff that comes with it.
There's a whole level to it, because it's, I don't know. Have you ever taken one of those things? Is it Myers-Briggs, like the other personality test, but that one's like more work-oriented?
I took something, and now the name is escaping me, but it was like spot on, but it was more, like work oriented, and like, I don't know, like I'm very like detailed oriented, so like everything that I was saying was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
but it was like crazy. Yeah.
Well, so like that was the thing. I had taken these sorts of work oriented ones for years, and they always explained like my communication methods, things that I value, like the way that I operate, and it was a bunch of stuff that I agreed with. And then whenever I saw like the Enneagram stuff, it was like, okay, here's the positive side, and then here's also the negative side. And I was like, oh yeah, I do all that.
Yeah.
And also like that it wasn't tied to work or producing something. It was like, here's how you think about stuff. And
I like that. That's cool. That's interesting that they give you the negative, but I like that they do, because I think it's important to know, like, well, what should I be working on, or what can I do differently, you know?
Or to think of anything as like too one-dimensional. Like the way I always used to look at it was, I'm a perfectionist, and like people can use that as this big strong quality, but a lot of the times when you start digging deeper, it's like, what does perfection mean, and what does perfection in this case mean? It means that you're like striving for something that you don't know if you're going to achieve. And so like, but it might also mean that you want to be in control of everything. So as opposed to like putting something out there that, say, a perfectionist on a team is going to say like, until everything goes through me and I have my last say, it doesn't get out there. Whereas like the non-perfectionist is like, great job everyone, this is amazing, and you accept it for whatever culminated there. Because perfectionism for me always led to like me slowly doing things, me waiting to do things, or me never doing something. It's like, it's
makes
not
sense.
This painting won't be perfect. It's like,
It's fine.
So learning the Enneagram like really helped me put that into like more actionable things that I can do every day, where it's like, okay, chill on the perfectionism. Instead, just like think about where you are in this right now.
Nice. That's really interesting. I'm glad you shared that, because now I'm going to go look this up again, because I don't remember what the number is or what it meant. So
well, it can always change. And then the tricky thing for me was that I found out that I was like 2 numbers, and they're like, that's not supposed to happen. I was like, oh no, did I break the Enneagram?
Wait, so remind me, what's the scale again? Like 1 to...
I have there's 9.
Oh, there's 9.
But they're like very different types of things. Like one is like what is it called? loyal skeptic. And that's one of the ones I am, where it's like I will stay with like till the end with something, but at the same time like question it the whole time.
Okay. Oh.
There were things that were interesting that I started learning about, were like how I look at authority, because that was one of them in the, like within the leadership traits. It was like I kind of don't respect it, but I also very respect it a lot, and so I tend to find myself getting into positions where I can influence it, and so now I'm on the borough council.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Well, it's happening like lots of stuff. I just like being involved.
Yeah.
And I guess part of that is like pushing ahead. And,
Wow. I love this. I love all of this. Yeah. No, this was really great. Thank you so much for telling us your weird experiences that you do throughout the day. And now when I work from home, I'm going to think of you in Zip. And
look at the mirror and yell.
All right, wonderful. So where can people find you if they want to reach out and say, hey, Adrian, my Enneagram number is 9.
Yeah, actually, I always am very interested in that stuff. I've had people like reach out and like say, hey, have you ever like looked into this sort of stuff? And just like there's a daily newsletter that I subscribe to that just gives you the questions, and it's very nice. But in order to find me, you can find me on Instagram either at Serna Style, which is SERNASTYLE, or you can check out my hot sauce at Serna Style Sauces, which is all that same stuff with sauces on the end on Instagram.
Nice. And if you didn't catch that, I'll put in the show notes, so no worries there. And wondering, for the listeners, did you find the connection here with Adrian's weird experience? Are you resonating now with any of this? I hope you are, and maybe you'll do one of these things in your routine. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Adrian.
Thank you. This was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Exciting meeting you, or meeting the cats.
Yeah. Yeah, the cats were, popping around. They wanted to record, but I said, Adrian's up today. So, you know how it goes. But, all right. Well, thanks again, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
See ya. All right, my friends, thanks for listening, and be sure to listen to new episodes on your preferred platform. Stay up to date with my podcast by going to my Instagram or Facebook accounts at the Big Dane Podcast. Interested in being a guest? Just go to my link tree, tap on Be a Guest, and fill out the form. All right, catch you next week.